Hi everyone, my name is Emily Ryan, and I am here today to share with you my interview on growing up in the 1980s. The person I interviewed was my mother, and I thought she would be a very good candidate for this because she did not move to the United States until 1979. She definitely understood that American culture was different when she moved here, as she is originally from Germany. Because of this, I thought that she would take extreme note of the changes in pop culture that have happened during the 1980s. Um, so, a little background information on my mother is that she grew up in Germany, obviously, and she was born there and raised there, and she spoke very little English when she moved here. She attended German schools, and her mother is completely from Germany. Her father was an American soldier who fell in love with a German woman. She did not know her father was an American soldier because it was part of his job to remain silent about what he was doing. And yeah, so I can relate to several of my mother's views because she basically raised me, and I come from a European culture as my dad was not around the majority of the time. She kept her European culture now and still practices the European culture, as does the rest of her family. So in this speech, I will reflect on my interview with Denise, who is my mother, with her living in the 1980s in America, and analyze how the historical trends have changed and many similarities and differences from growing up 2 decades later. So first off, I just wanted to start off with the type of media my mother found in the 1980s. She said that she watched MTV all the time and that it was one of her favorite channels during high school and college. She said that MTV did not have any TV shows on it as it does now, and that it was all music videos. The type of music that was on it were bands such as Foreigner, Journey, or Paula Abdul. She said that the radio was also a huge influence in her life, and that she always had the radio on 24/7 in the house, or also driving as. So she was very commonly on the radio, listening to ads and having media and watching TV. My mother said the biggest difference between the 1980s and now is that the lack of sex appeal in the 1980s. In the 1980s, it was illegal to even curse on the radio and frowned highly upon when women or men cursed and used bad language. The style was much different on TV instead of very skimpy clothing as there is now. Back then, people were covered up in turtlenecks and long jeans or long dresses. The style was very conservative, and America did not accept nudity or openness back in the 1980s. My mom actually found this weird because she grew up in the European culture, which is very open about bodies and sexual appeal. I believe now, though, that America has formed that way, and that now it is acceptable for a woman to dress however she wants or a man to dress however he wants, and that many ads use sex appeal and skimpy clothing. And a similarity between the 1980s and now that I found out from talking to my mother is that people are still interested in the same genres. Back then, shows were created off love and drama and sitcoms and comedy, and they are similar to this now. Back then, they had Dynasty and Fantasy Island as their drama and sitcom shows, and now we have, for a drama show, we have Pretty Little Liars or Glee, and for a sitcom show, we have The Big Bang Theory and several others. People are still interested in the same genres, which I also kind of found interesting, that it's never changed, that America still likes to watch shows about love or drama, or America also enjoys funny shows. Socially and politically, the trends have changed immensely from the 1980s to now. In the 1980s, at the end, Ronald Reagan was elected president. America was thrilled with this, and he won by a landslide. Ronald Reagan is said to have changed America for the better and have boosted the economy greatly at that time. My mother agrees with this statement. In Module 12, we have also learned about this more. But because the economy was booming at the end of the 1980s and into the beginning of the 1990s, America started focusing on material items and greed. My mom also believes this is true because they had more money to spend. She does not believe that this has changed at all because people are still very greedy and materialistic in America today. I feel like the historical trends have changed a little bit because back in the 1980s we had a Republican president, and now we have a Democratic president, which just kind of shows how how American views have flung from worrying more about the economy, and now we want everybody to have equal rights, which is a great thing, such as gay equality, racial equality, and that today's society really focuses on equality for everybody. Overall, I believe life in the 1980s was much different than life now. Our society has changed and Americans have become more liberal and accepting. Social equality is much stronger now than it was in the 80s, and people have become more open and accepting of body image, race, and sexual orientation. This is a good thing, and I can't wait to see how America changes over the next several decades. Every decade in America has been different, and right now we are in the decade of technology booming, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. Thank you for listening to my presentation. My name is Emily Ryan, and I am here for Pop Culture 100. Thank you. Bye.